Thursday, November 14th. I was around 8 years ago. Mom, can I see Dad? No, you can't see. Come on, Greg, let's go back to the car. Okay, bye, Daddy.
Wake up, Rodrick Heffley. That's a detention for you.
Not how I wanted to be woken up. I tried to reason with Mr. Berkeley, but there was no getting through to that guy when he gets mad. Guess I'm going to be taking the late bus again. Anyway, I guess I should catch you up to speed. My name's Rodrick Heffley. My mom's making me write these journals again, saying it's to help me recover from... Never mind. From the last time I wrote, I'm now a senior at Crosson High School, along with my friend Rowley. Rodrick is attending the local college and has a part-time job. And Manny's no longer fling. He's 8 now. Damn, you got caught, Greg. Yep, just my luck.
Hey, at least you won't be alone. Some guy in my chemistry blew a hole through the roof.
Oh, shut up, Albert. No, bro, I'm serious this time. Weren't you also serious about your apology to the country France after destroying a famous painting? Albert's tales. Besides, I really hoped I wouldn't be alone in detention, as that part of the school can be really creepy sometimes, and they never turn on the heat, so having a spare heater in the room won't be too bad. And if it was Holly? Ooh, boy! Yes, I still have a crush on her 4 years later. As I got to the room, my hopes were dashed. Well, but not exactly what I hoped for. I guess I'll just sleep through detention, as who knows what else to do. As I drifted off, I let my mind wander. Huh? What the heck? I looked up in front of me and saw the most bizarre sight I'd seen in ages. This doohickey was making all sorts of noise and lights. The more I looked at it, the more it confused me. But then, something clicked in my brain. Are you the kid that blew a hole in the roof? Yep, that's me. What am I looking at? It's a modified cloud chamber. You can see ionizing radiation with it. Yep, definitely the guy who would blow a hole through a wall. I was actually a little nervous when he mentioned radiation, but he quickly explained that it was completely safe, and if it was dangerous, we'd all be dead long before now. So you built this thing yourself? Yeah, with the help of my dad. He's pretty smart. He's working at a laboratory near here. Oh, and my name's Archie. Built it with his dad, huh? Lucky. No, rather unlucky. I'm trying to get this special glass I bought to make the particles light up, but keeps running into issues. Mind if I help? Sure. I'm not sure why I said that, but I'm thankful I did, because it greatly helped pass the time. Archie and I worked tirelessly for the next 2 hours. We talked about ourselves during the process, and I was actually pretty talented when it came to making doohickeys. Before we knew it, the machine was finished. Oh, we did it, Greg. Hey, yeah. With detention over, we packed everything up and walked outside. And my goodness, it was cold. It was so cold. Sorry for my intense reaction, but that was the only way I could describe our shock at the temperature. Archie had a thermometer on him, and it read to 28 degrees Fahrenheit, -3 degrees Celsius. It was like 51 to 59 this afternoon, so this sudden drop caught us off guard.
Hey, boys.
Sheriff Palsy.
As you can tell, it's pretty freaking cold and snowing out here. The school district was pretty lazy, understaffed, and asked me to pick up the only 2 detentioners. So get in, boys.
Well, at least we didn't have to stand out here for long. The guy you just saw is Sheriff Palsy, and despite being a cop, he's actually a pretty cool guy. We loaded into his Range Rover and hit the road. While we were driving, Sheriff Palsy turned on the radio, and I managed to get some more clarification on this sudden storm.
Am I reading this right, Sharon? Is it going to fall below 10.4 degrees Fahrenheit tonight?
Sure is, Dave. We've just gone back from our weather team. They're just as puzzled as we are.
My goodness, this will be a new record for the fastest change in temperature in Plainview since 1978.
Well, folks, better stay inside tonight. Is this RH News? Sign now. -10? I've heard of cold snaps before, but dropping over 40 digits? Well, at least on the bright side, Mom won't probably force me to go outside. Plus now I have the perfect excuse to make hot chocolate. But while I was thinking to myself,
damn, this is a bad one.
It is?
Probably not for you kids, but I've got my PA out in the countryside to worry. That old effer still uses that darn fireplace. Gonna burn the farm down.
A few minutes after we arrived at Surrey Street, I got out of the car and bid Archie and Sheriff Parsley farewell. Honestly, I think I might want to hang out with Archie again next week. No detention, of course. Why were you home so late, Greg? I got detention for sleeping in class. Okay, well, there's some leftover Thai in the fridge if you want it. Thanks, Mom. I didn't mention this early, but after you know what, Mom has a full-time job now as an accountant at City Hall. She gets home pretty late, so we get takeout often. Rodrick's part-time job doesn't pay too much, but we still have enough to get by. Friday, November 15th. Remember how I said it was going to be a snow day? Well, I was right. But remember how I also said that Mom wouldn't force me to go outside? Well, I was wrong. I need you both to shovel the driveway by 10:15. Have a meeting with the staff at City Hall. Right, boys?
Yes, Mom.
Yes, Mom. I was a little curious why Rodrick needed to also help, as he's useless when it comes to manual labor 80% of the time. But when I stepped outside, I instantly realized why. The snow was up to the shins and oh my goodness, the wind chill was unbearable. I'm guessing the weatherman will underestimate how cold it really was, as the thermometer measured 6 degrees Fahrenheit, negative 14 degrees Celsius. With this in mind, we both knew the faster we finish, the faster we can go inside. While we were shoveling the driveway, I noticed that other kids were outside shoveling their driveways too. So I'm guessing parents think it's their universal right to make kids do hard labor. Anyways, we managed to finish just in time for Mom to leave. Before I went inside, I decided to ask if Riley wanted to hang out. But to get to his house, I did surpass Fregley.
Hello, Gregory.
What are you doing today, Fregley?
I'm making myself an igloo to keep my secret freckle warm. What about you, Gregory?
After he said that, he quickly got back to work and I quickly walked past. Yo,
Wanna help?
got drummies in the freezer?
Yep. Just count me in, boy.
After I helped Riley finish his driveway, we then went into his house. I gotta say, it's really nice that Riley has heated floors. We ended up relaxing for the rest of the day, talking about all sorts of things. While we were chilling out, Riley's dad burst in and he looked very cross. He asked Riley why he didn't shovel the driveway, but when he said we did, he pointed outside and you wouldn't believe your eyes. What? We literally just shoveled it. How's it already back? What? How is this possible? Almost our entire street was covered in snow. No wonder Mr. Jefferson thought we didn't shovel it. In fact, the blizzard was so thick we could barely see the other side of the road. Just then, Mr. Jefferson turned on the TV onto the news channel, and what they were saying wasn't pretty.
Breaking news, attention viewers, the local country has issued a shutdown in place. Notice that blizzard was oops, we're the technical difficulties.
Okay, that was weird. I've never seen a blizzard affect the reception this badly before. I guess the new radio tower we got in the city isn't worth for crap. I decided that it would be best if I headed home now, before it got worse. So I bid Riley farewell and trudged my way home. Passing by Fregley's igloo, I tried to warn him about the storm, but he didn't care.
The Canadian Spec Ops do this all the time, Gregory. Don't worry about me, boy.
Arriving home, I made it just in time for dinner, which I didn't expect to be homemade. So for the first time in a while, we actually all sat down to have a family meal. This is good, Mom. Yeah, Mom. Well, I'm glad you like it. The meeting ended early due to the storms, so I had time to go shopping. Yeah, it's really bad right now. The snow we cleared this morning has already been undone.
Yeah, I wonder who had to clear it again, huh?
After dinner, I went upstairs. I just decided to play Twisted Wizard V3. I plugged in my music and began to play. November. I don't know how to explain this, but I just saw the creepiest thing in my life. It was about 2 a.m. and I suddenly was woken up by laughter, I think. I looked out my window to see where it was coming from and...
Dangers are coming, tribulations all.
A second later, the person was blown away by the storm. I don't know why they were doing that, but I certainly don't want to see that ever again. Saturday, November 16th. Somehow I managed to go back to sleep after that nightmarish scene. It actually took me a second to realize I was awake, as it was pitch black in my room. I opened my curtains to see that half my window was covered in snow and had these weird blue ice crystals on it. It was then I realized the power was out. I found this out when I looked at my phone and it was 67%. Don't you flip in there. As well as when I tried turning on the lights. Thankfully, we had a backup generator.
Thanks, Rodrick.
No problem, Manny. How much gas is in the generator? Don't worry, Mom. It's enough to last for a day or two. Although I'm not sure if the power company will be able to get here, let alone find a darn green box. Hey, perhaps we could find it for them. Then we can worry less about electricity. I'm not going to lie, the reason I suggested digging out the box was so I could keep playing Twisted Wizard, and also have Wi-Fi. I think Rodrick might have seen through my ruse, but Mom certainly didn't. Just like yesterday, it was even colder. This time, the reading rang negative too, so Rodrick and I made haste, but trudging through the shin-high snow was not easy. You're really eager to do this, aren't ya? Let me guess, it's just so you can relax. Caught me. Gotta learn to be less selfish, Greg. Anyways, the box is right around here, so let's get this crap clear. Hey, what's the hold up? You know, Greg, let's just leave this to the professionals. I'm sure they know what to do. What? Come on. We're right here. This is an easy job. Poor Fregley. I never really liked the guy. Thought he was weird, but this is just horrible. From the looks of it, Fregley's igloo must have not worked, and the storm got him. There were hundreds of images racing through my head, but one thought came up in particular. Was the person I saw last night? That must have been Fregley. No doubt. How? Why? What the heck happened last night? Greg, let's go back to the house now. I'll call 911 quick. I don't really remember too much of what happened after that. Ran back as fast as we could. Rodrick did what he said. Ambulances and cops showed up half an hour later, along with the power company and snowplow. Nothing else interesting happened on the weekend. Nothing that could top what just happened. Monday, November 18th. School was surprisingly open today, but only to people within walking distance, so F them, I guess. I'm still shaken up by what happened on Saturday, but at least I had Sunday to prepare for the onslaught at school. Yo, Greg, what happened on the weekend? My sources are saying something big happened. Yeah, Greg, so you're acting odd. Did something happen? I was trying to keep quiet about the incident with Fregley, but unfortunately, the school decided to share anyway. As much as I hate our faculty, I can't exactly blame them for sharing the news about it. Good morning, students. It has come to our attention that we have some unfortunate news to share with you all. It's with great sadness that we'd like to announce the passing of Fregley C. Hubert. Due to the ongoing police investigation, we don't have much info on how he died, but police say it was likely due to the severe weather. The room was dead quiet throughout the entire announcement. Even after it finished, nobody spoke. Not even Albert. They just said that if we didn't want to do any work in class, that'd be okay, as he wasn't going to assign homework today. The rest of the morning was pretty mundane, but by around lunchtime, the school had gone somewhat back to normal. So what did happen to Albert, shut the flip up! Guys, calm down. It's alright. Suddenly, a crowd of people came over to listen. I told everyone what I saw on Saturday, but I refrained from telling what I saw the night before. The students around had all sorts of faces. They got more and more on edge as I spoke. And, as if it were a horror movie, the moment I got to the part where I described what happened to Fregley's body, the power went out. What's going on?
Greg, where are you? I can't see.
It's because of Fregley. I told you guys, I told you. The whole cafeteria went into chaos after that happened, and some people, specifically Albert, was saying Fregley's ghost was haunting the school in revenge for being bullied. A few minutes later, the lights came back on, and the principal apologized, explained that the blizzard was affecting the local power lines near them. Later that day, Teach, my internet stopped working.
Me too. Calm down, everyone. I'm also experiencing issues.
It seemed almost at random that everyone's internet access went kaput. Keep in mind, we still had power in the building. We had no idea why it stopped, and everyone was getting pretty annoyed, except one person. It was Archie. Apparently, I've only just noticed how he was in my third period class. I'd pulled out some weird radio and started talking quickly. He said that it wasn't just the internet that wasn't working, it was almost all communications. Radio signals are down, cellular networks, wireless, heck, this storm's even starting to affect satellites. We don't gotta worry about satellites, just wipe the snow off the dish. No, I mean the snowstorm's blocking signals from the satellites in space. Once Archie said that puts this whole situation in perspective. Was this really just a big storm, or something supernatural entirely? People started to panic all around, me included. I mean, am I going to get news on the remake of Twisted Wizard 2x2? But out of everyone, there was one girl in particular who was the most panicky out of everyone. Holly. But a new episode of my TV show comes out tonight, and the new Boston designer bag drops later this week too. Oh, calm down, Holly. It's just a damn bag. Beats freezing to death. I don't need to worry about that. My dad bought some expensive new heated roof tiles, thank you very much. All he seemed to care about was a bunch of random junk. Now, I hate to diss on my dream girl, but that's the last thing she should be concerned about. We continued asking Archie what else he knew about the storm, but he said he didn't have access to bare equipment, so he couldn't tell us much else. Well, there is a city hall meeting tonight. If someone were to help me, I could share some info. I'll help. My gut was telling me that there was something off about the storm. Fast forward a few hours, and I was loading who knows what into Archie's car. On our way to the city hall, we talked about current events. So, about Fregley. What was he doing outside exactly? Well, kinda just Fregley stuff. He built himself an igloo to keep his secret freckle warm, whatever that meant. Is there something wrong? No, I'm just thinking. It took us a while to get there because the blizzard had once again returned, and this time it was even stronger. We could barely see 10 feet in front of us, but eventually, we made it.
Hello, residents. Quite the weather we're having.
When can I get my internet back? Holly! What? Just saying.
Well, anyway, I'm sure you're all aware of how rough this sudden storm has been, but there's no need to panic. I've ordered 3 more snowplows to be brought in from our neighboring city. As for the concerns about the storm affecting communications, the local service provider will be here on Wednesday to check on the systems. The roads and bridge to the outside will also be cleared by the end of the week.
The meeting mostly consisted of the mayor explaining how the city was going to combat the storm, normal stuff like that. It was a bit strange that no one brought up Fregley's death, but I guess that was for his family's privacy. Eventually, they asked if anyone had any information to share, and Archie showed us his research. As you all know, at this point, not everyone has been able to access the internet or cell service. However, good news. I've discovered that servers inside the storm should still work, albeit interrupted sometimes. The bad news is, for some reason, servers outside the storm is completely cut off. Additionally, it seems the storm has gone 70% stronger in the last 26 hours.
Don't be alarmed, everyone. I'm sure it's not as bad as this young man said. Police Chief Cheval has managed to hear responses from precincts outside of Plainview.
The mayor's pleas fell on deaf ears, as the fact that everyone now knew they were trapped inside the city caused them to freak out.
My daughter was in an accident on the highway. How do I find out if she's okay?
Why should we trust you?
Your stupid machine only brought us bad news.
Just then, one person decided that this meeting wasn't worth their time. And can you guess who? I'm over this. Let's just go home. It's just a damn snowstorm anyway. Hey, wait. This research is important. Sure enough, everyone else followed her lead and left. The only ones left were my family, Archie, and a few other colleagues of my mom. Archie seemed pretty defeated after that. We tried to reassure him that his science wasn't useless, but it didn't really help.
Don't worry, Archie. I love radiation. Bruh.
Tuesday, November 19th. I can't believe this happened. Okay. Let me catch you up to speed. It was around midnight when I heard this huge crashing sound. What's going on? was so loud and sudden that I thought I was in a nightmare. Suddenly, there was a loud banging sound by the back door, so I rushed downstairs to see what it was. Honestly, I think I'd rather had stayed in that nightmare than woke up in this one.
Help us, Greg, please, we need help.
It was Holly and her younger sister, Piper. They are shaking and crying, beaten down by the cold. Mom instantly let them come inside, and after they stopped sobbing, Holly started talking quickly. Apparently, her house had burst into flames. According to her, happened out of nowhere. Holly had managed to grab her sister during the chaos, and they ran down the hill, ended up at my house by chance. I don't know what happened. It's alright, dear. I'll get some more chocolate going and we'll call the fire department. It was pretty quiet after that. Nobody really said anything. I felt like it would be weird if I said anything. So we just sat there. Finally, after what felt like ages, a police officer and an EMT came in to see what was going on. Holly tried to explain the story again, although it was a lot harder for her this time without the adrenaline. I'm sorry about what happened. You're not alone in this. Not alone? Not alone? The hell is that bullcrap? My flippin' family is dead. How the flip am I not alone?
Hey, calm down. It wasn't just your house. There were 4 other fires we had to deal with tonight. Excuse me? Yes, the storm is getting more violent. Frick!
That seemed to snap some sense into Holly. Even though Holly had kind of been an insensitive jerk up until now, she definitely didn't deserve this to happen to her. Even her crashing out was pretty understandable. A little later, I decided to try lighting up the mood by turning on the TV, but I wasn't expecting to see what was on.
This is just it. The pit is a collapse. I repeat, we're
We're trapped? As if this situation couldn't get worse. The storm had locked us in. From what I could hear through the static, the news anchor said the temperature dropped to -4 degrees Fahrenheit, which is -20 degrees Celsius, and the snow level outside was reported waist deep, now in some areas. Wednesday, November 20th. Sorry that yesterday was so short. Nothing really happened for the rest of the day, because Holly and Piper didn't really have any immediate family in Plainview. They're staying at our house for the moment. Now that I think about it, I completely forgot to go to school. I wonder how everyone else is doing. Mom still had to leave for work though. Okay, there's plenty of food in the fridge. I'll be back before 5.
Bye, Mom.
But as quick as Mom left, she came back inside literally 5 seconds later. Rodrick, can you check my car? It's not starting for some reason. Mom's car wouldn't start, so we had to go outside and drag the car inside the garage alongside Rodrick's van. Kind of smart of him to do that. At first, we thought it was the battery, but what Rodrick said next shook both of us.
The engine oil is frozen. What? Greg, I need to tell you something.
What is it?
I'm going to try and drive out of Plainview.
Rodrick was going to try and drive out of Plainview? I asked him how the heck he was going to do that. He said that Hardscrabble Farms had a hidden roadway covered by the trees, and the snow should be thin enough to drive through. After arguing back and forth, something dawned on me. Why was he trying to get out so badly?
Greg, a ton of houses burned down yesterday. People are freezing to death outside, and there's no way to call for help. I know it's risky, but we have to do something or more people are going to die. And I know you're going to say, I'm sure someone else is already doing that, but that's called the bystander effect. I refuse to stand by and do nothing. If no one else has the guts to do it, then I will.
Looks like Rodrick wasn't budging. Eventually, I just gave up and went back inside. Rodrick at least promised he would mod his van for outdoors, whatever that meant. Well, how was it? The car's engine and oil froze overnight, Mom. Well, looks like I'll have to call in absent. Oh, and while you were out, you had a call from Rowley asking if you were okay. I explained basically everything to Rowley, and he seemed pretty shocked by it as well. It was then he filled me in on why I missed that school yesterday.
You know the people on top of the ridge? Yeah, most of their houses are burned down. But it gets worse, right? As a gas station on the south side exploded last night. Police are looking for suspects.
I told Rowley I was more interested in what I missed out at school, but he told me that school was cancelled, so that's a relief. Sadly, however, I couldn't talk with Rowley for much longer, as the storm's interference cut the line. Hey. What's up? I know this was a few years ago, but sorry for mistaking you for Fregley. Oh, no offense taken. Having Coley and Piper around, this is so bad. I thought Holly would be her annoying self, but I think the gravity of the situation has made us do self-reflection. As for Piper, she's the same age as Manny, so they're doing fine-ish. A few hours later at dinner time, Rodrick finally told Mom his plan.
We have nothing to lose, and if we stay trapped in this bubble any longer, things will only get worse. Are you crazy, Rodrick? You can't absolutely not do that. I lost your father to the ice, and I'm not losing you too.
Don't go there, Mom.
Look, if you're so set on doing this, you'd better promise me you'll come right back if anything dangerous happens on the journey.
That was that. Rodrick was going to brave the blizzard and try to find help on the outside. He asked me to help load up his van with equipment, and for the first time, I got a look at his fully modded van. I have to say, Rodrick actually surprised me with his creativity. His plan might actually work, if only he put this much effort into his band. After that, he geared up, and we opened the garage door. Instantly, we were blasted with snow, followed by wind. With the chain tires, he drove through the snow and ice. Suddenly, however, Rodrick's van started to slip. But fortnightly, he upgraded the engine and started to climb back up. I could hear the wind starting to roar even louder, but against Rodrick's van, it was no match. After one last rev of the engine, he managed to get all the way up the hill. We thought it was all clear at that point until this happened. A cop suddenly showed up out of nowhere and flashed his lights. Rodrick had to pull over and get out of the van. Then they got to talking after that, but because of the wind and snow, I couldn't hear or see much. I'm not sure what they were arguing about, but whatever it was pretty heated. Then, Rodrick did something I will never forget. Arrgh! They started to shuffle around in the snow, throwing punches and kicks back and forth, but the cop must have had strength advantage as he was beating Rodrick pretty badly. But things changed pretty quickly though when Rodrick started busting out some kung fu.
Little diaper kick.
Since when does he know kung fu? No clue when he learned that. However, it seemed to be working as the cop was being put on the back foot. But suddenly, I saw the cop reach into his pocket and pull out a gun. In the blink of an eye, I would do something that I would never forget.
Thanks for that, Greg.
Why did you start fighting?
Some bullcrap about a curfew said he was going to arrest me on the spot. And well, you saw the rest.
Rodrick then got up and stole the cop's body and dash cameras. I asked what he was going to do with those, and he said destroy them. Luckily, Rodrick was wearing a mask to cover his face when he fought the cop. We then picked up the cop and put him in the back in his car. We're not murderers, okay?
Oh, you big time, bro.
No problem. And with that, Rodrick disappeared into the storm. It's one of those nights again, that cold night. It's there in my restless dreams, or better spoken, as nightmares. That's him.
Sorry, kid. I didn't want any of this to happen. Not to you. Not to you.
Friday, November 22nd. There it was, that dream. I've a lot to talk about since Wednesday. First things first, remember that cop Rodrick and I beat the crap out of?
Police are looking for a suspect IE. A van who might be connected with a gas station explosion.
The police are searching for Rodrick, although I doubt they'll find him anytime soon. That's all I know about Rodrick as of now, as we haven't heard anything from him since he drove away. Honestly, looking back, I probably should have inquired more about his sudden martial arts prowess. As for my daily life, well, it hasn't been that complicated. We've slowly shifted into the new normal of our lives inside the storm. For one thing, as you've just seen, the storm's interference has gone worse. I really wish that old radio tower up on the hill wasn't decommissioned. Holly's moved out into her friend's house, and Manny and Piper have actually become best friends. Of course, it's all good, as yesterday was pretty scary. Suddenly, around noon, the storm decided to lock in or whatever and started shaking the whole house, followed by the temperature dropping another 4 degrees. I have no clue why that happened. However, I do know a person who might.
That's the sixth person today who's told me this, Greg.
At lunch, I invited Archie to eat with me, Rowley, Albert, and Shirag. It was there that he explained that many people had experienced a sudden wave, but that he had no clue either. We started to bounce ideas back and forth, but most of them didn't seem to stick. You know what it is? It's a government weapons test to see the effects of extreme cold on the civilian population. Come on guys, think.
I don't think it's that. Hold on a minute. Why use it in a place that's already plenty cold in the winter instead of like Arizona?
Okay, but that wouldn't explain all the other oddities so far, like the blue light.
Eureka! That's it!
Archie then pulled out his phone and started to explain some sciencey crap to us.
Geomagnetic storms. It is a phenomenon occurring when Earth's magnetosphere is affected by solar wind or coronal mass ejections. This event, if strong enough, can cause the failure of electronics and communications across a wide spectrum. Geostorms can influence the weather patterns across the area hit by the storm, as well as cause a visible aurora.
According to Archie, if the sun were to release one of those stated effects, it could be the reason for all these events so far. He then proposed an idea. He wanted to go to the top of the radio broadcast building in the city and check if our hypothesis is correct. Rowdy also suggested we broadcast a message asking for help, which we also decided to do. Wouldn't you need permission to climb the tower in the building?
Don't worry, I'm sure they'll say yes at the town hall meeting.
Yeah, not happening, kid.
What? Why?
Look, listen, kid, I know you wanna help and all, but drop this science project thing. In fact, we've already tried that method and found nothing.
Yo, he looks very sus. Yeah, the bear's definitely in on something sketchy going on.
Well, that was pretty frustrating, but there wasn't much we could do about it. During the meeting, they announced there would be a funeral procession for all the people who've died in the past few days. Still can't believe it's only been 1 week. Anyway, he said it would take place on the morning of Saturday, so I'll see you then. Saturday, November 23rd. It was surprisingly warm this morning. Well, that is if you consider 19 degrees minus 70 degrees Celsius warm. The funeral started about 11 and went pretty smoothly, for the most part. I'll get to one incident later. As usual, there were tons of people crying and... You know, I'm just gonna skip over to the interesting bits. A little over an hour later, everyone was finished. However, some people decided to stay a little longer, including me. You know, if you stay out here like this, you're gonna get sick or what? Die? Die like dumb? Yep. I went back to my house yesterday and there was nothing left. You know, it's funny. I cared more about the useless stuff I had more than them. And now that they're gone, it makes me sick thinking I cared about it in the first place. I wish I could go back in time and talk with them for one last time. Yeah, I feel that too. I lost my father a long time ago. I still think about going back. We just sat in silence for however long we felt. But eventually our shivering bodies were convinced to go get some hot chocolate. You know, rereading this now, I've noticed how dark the tone got. So, I'll add something I left out earlier because it didn't fit the tone. At some point during the burial, one guy got so emotional, he jumped into the grave. Granny! Sunday, November 24th. I wish I could go back in time, talk with them for one last time. Wait. I quickly got out of bed and started getting dressed. I knew this idea was too good to wait on. Any second loss could be the difference between failure and success. I called Rowdy on the phone and told him to gather everyone up and meet at the local diner. Okay, so I had a conversation with Holly yesterday, and she said she wanted to go back in time and talk with her family. Well, that got me thinking. The old radio tower on the ridge. I think it should still work despite being decommissioned. If we could get it to working, Archie could use his technology to solve the storm. Okay, but the tower's been decommissioned for years now. Will it even work? It will be super dangerous too. I'm not doing that.
Greg's right, though. We could finally find answers to what's happening.
Albert and Chirac didn't want to risk it, but Archie, Rowdy and I were. We tried to visit them to join us, but they wouldn't budge. We then discussed how we would climb the tower. We approached from the south side of the hill, then climbed the fence and lockpicked the door. Archie will restart the power and then the computer systems. Me and Rowdy will carry the equipment up the tower. Once at the top, Archie blasts signals out using the tower. Lastly, after finishing our mission, we book it out of there. Rowdy's a bit nervous that the storm might still block the message, but Archie assured him it wouldn't. Soon after we finished lunch, we got ready for the climb. I've never actually been this close to the tower, ironically. Looks even more unstable than I thought. I almost got cold feet. Well, that is if they weren't cold already. Despite wearing Rowdy's dad's ski jacket, it didn't seem to help with the temperature, so I just had to deal with it. Honestly, I'm pretty nervous. If this doesn't work, not only am I going to waste our time, but I'm also going to be broke for nothing because that fat warhog Albert ate 300 pounds worth of food. Heck, I'll even show you the receipt for proof. Yes, I have 2 number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, 2 times number 45, 1 with cheese. This is soda that is large. Oh, this, Albert guys with like prime neck called avocado. Trudging up the hill, the snow was really deep. It was chest high, and Rowdy even got stuck at one point. Greg, help me, I'm sinking. Archie, please. Help. Get up, fella. With enough perseverance, we made it. Archie cut the gate, unlocked the door, and phase 1 was complete. Thankfully, the tower hasn't had a security guard in months, but still, we need to work fast because someone might see us. If you're wondering why we didn't go at night, it is way too cold to go out at night safely. Archie quickly got to work setting everything up, while Rowdy took on the arduous task of carrying the rest of the equipment up the stairs. Greg, what was that? All of a sudden, the staircase began to collapse. We bolted down the stairs before the whole thing came down. Every step we took, I heard this awful metal cracking noise. Eventually, the staircase leading up to the top of the radio tower completely fell off. Archie, who must have been just as terrified as we were, ran all the way to see what happened. How are we going to get up now? Come down, there shouldn't be a service ladder on the outside of the building. We can carry the supplies up with that. After I caught my breath, I looked around for the ladder he was talking about, and it did not look safe at all. You want me to climb that? Well, how else are we going to get up? So far, so good. I was really expecting the bars to break under my weight, but thankfully, I don't think I have to worry about that. I'm more concerned about the wind. Because of our high elevation, the wind chill was incredibly cold, like minus 40 degrees. It was as if I wasn't even wearing gloves at all. It was whipping all across my face, probably bad enough to give me frostbite. I got you, Greg, don't worry. Right before I was about to fall to my death, Archie grabbed my hand and ended up dragging me the rest of the way. I had to sit down after that. I guess I'm only really now coming to terms with my own mortality in this whole mess. That was a close one. Tell me about it. I got up and walked over to see Archie messing with a bunch of wires and machinery. We asked if he needed help. We said that we'd probably make it worse. He's probably right about that. A few minutes later, he got it working. Hello? Hello, can anyone hear me? This is Archie Smith from Plainview City. We're trapped in the storm, but we're still alive. Send help. Please respond. Archie played the message on repeat for a few minutes, but we didn't hear a single response. He seemed pretty frustrated about why no one had responded. But I quickly told Archie to forget it and focus on the actual experiment, which was the reason we were there in the first place. I don't get it. What don't you get? I'm not picking up any signs of solar activity or presence of geomagnetic storms. It's not something in Blizzard blocking us. It's someone. After he said that, I could feel the cold run up my spine. If what Archie deduced was true, someone inside the town was trying to keep us in and everyone else out.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us?
We can barely hear you. This is Iqbal. You're breaking up.
This is Rodrick Heffley. Is there a man named Rodrick there? He tried to escape in the storm several days ago.
I don't know. I'll ask the rescue teams, but we are trying to hold up. Something is blocking in the signal from.
Shortly after that, the signal went cold. Archie tried to get the signal back, but to no avail. It was then that we heard something from down below. Come down with your hands up, boys. Oh, frick. Archie had forgotten the fact that everyone else of the radio would hear the broadcast. And wanted to make the situation worse, we quickly climbed down the tower. But while we were doing that, I made a decision. I wasn't sure if I'd regret. I thought that they might try to take down Archie's radio, so I was going to make it damn near impossible for them to do so. As soon as we got down, the police officers started yelling at us. They said we were trespassing on private property. We tried telling them about Archie's plan, but he didn't seem to care. Then out of nowhere, one pulled a gun on us. You think I won't shoot right now, boy? Think you got balls, huh? Hey, Greg, is that a gun? We didn't do anything. Relax, officer. Hey. Whoa, calm down, everyone. Sheriff Palsy? Save it for the station. Now, boys, what do you have to say in your defense? It's a bit of a story. No. Well, you see, we're white. Really, Rowley? Monday, November 25th. Out of everything you could have said, you chose to say that, Rowley?
I'm sorry, guys. I panicked and I know, just thinking about back in the day. Oh, just shut up, Rowley.
Well, I guess I don't have a criminal record before Rodrick. Look, Mr. Valsey, we're just trying to find a solution. After the mayor wouldn't let us use the big tower, we had no other choice.
That's still no excuse to break the law, boys.
Just give me 1 minute to explain what we heard up there.
You heard something?
Yes.
You managed to briefly connect to someone on the outside, but he said something on the inside was interfering.
I can back that up. While using the radio, I kept running into the same issues. And with what that man said, I'm 99% sure someone in this town is stopping us.
After we told that to Sheriff Palsy, his facial expression had changed from his usual serious expression to one of unease. Eventually, he walked away and came back over to the cell. Okay, I'm gonna file some paperwork for your boys' releases. This is a lot to take in. I don't know all the facts yet. This may even be the biggest mistake in my career, but I trust your intentions. A few minutes later, he came back with the key to the cell and unlocked it. To say we were relieved was an understatement, especially Rowley.
Oh, Sheriff Palsy.
Oh, the flip.
I thought we were in the home stretch at that point, but as they escorted us outside the jail, a familiar face spotted us.
Hey, Palsy, why are you letting these delinquents escape, huh?
They're not escaping, they're being released, sir.
Release? Since when did you have authority over that?
I don't know, maybe when I was elected sheriff by your council. The mayor and Palsy got into a very heated argument for a solid 10 minutes, and we thought the police weren't going to let us leave. They started vaguely professional, before it quickly developed into personal attacks against each other. At some point, Palsy threatened to go to the city council, to which the mayor backed off and said we could leave, but there'd be consequences for Palsy. So, you're Mr. Greg, my brother Rodrick tried escaping several days ago, Heffley, huh? I might not have any evidence, but I'm keeping my freaking eyes on you. So if you know what's good for you, stop looking around in places you shouldn't be. We got in Parsley's car and we were driven home. I have a lot to process. On one hand, we managed to achieve our goal, for the most part, and even have Parsley as an ally. But on the other hand, the bear wants us in jail, someone's blocking communication outside the town, and I have to deal with this psycho-looking police watching my every move. But honestly, I think those issues are the least of my concern right now.
Gregory Heffley, I cannot believe you would get arrested.
I knew the consequences, but Mom, I can't just sit around waiting to freeze to death. We both ended up arguing after that. I know what I did was technically breaking the law, but it was for the common good. You know how if you can break the law to do something good, you know the Good Samaritan law, right? Well, I feel like that applies in this case. I mean, for crying out loud, we barely have police right now. Anyway, I'm gonna go to bed now. Hopefully I can have some good dreams for once. Tuesday, November 26th. You know how in the movies, kids who get arrested or get into trouble are seen as the cool kids? Well, all those Hollywood beaters lied, as when I got back to school today, I was not welcomed warmly.
Thanks a lot, Greg.
Yeah, you and the stupid scientist kid ruined everything, nerds.
I was pretty taken aback by all this hate. What? Did someone record Rowley saying we're white as our defense? I tried asking around, but no one wanted to talk to me, except for, ironically, Holly Hills. Because of your group's stunt at the radio tower, there is now an 8 p.m. curfew as well as a rationing order. Anyone caught breaking it will be arrested. So, if I wasn't convinced the city officials and police were fishy, I definitely was now. One other noteworthy event that happened while I was gone is that one kid named Brian Finkelberry ran through the school fully naked.
Oh, no, please, it's gonna eat me. Help. He's naked. Somebody help. He claimed that his parents were going to eat him if they ran out of food because of the rationing, and that he was going to run outside into the storm to try to freeze himself so to stop that from happening. Later at the end of the day, I met with the gang again and discussed what's been going on. I told them all about what happened at the tower and the subsequent arrest. I tried to warn you guys. Did you at least find someone up there? We did. Turns out it's not the storm causing all the disruptions. It's someone.
Wait, like a veil from Jujutsu, guys?
No, like a device inside the town intentionally blocking it. We also managed to connect with someone briefly too.
What did they say?
Not much important, but they did mention a rescue team, so that's good. There wasn't really much we could get out of our brief conversation. The big thing we took away is that someone inside the town definitely doesn't want us to escape, and it didn't take long for us to think of suspects. Albert said he used his connections and find some intel on our suspects. In other words, he's just going to browse 4chan for 30 minutes. With not much else to do today, I just decided to go home.
I heard what you were talking about back there. You did? Why didn't you join us then? I didn't want to intrude. Anyway, I want to help you. You want to help us? Why is that? All we've done is cause more trouble for everyone else at school. Listen, I think there's a conspiracy as well. Heard what happened at the jail. Holly told me that the police were doing absolutely nothing for her or her sister. Whenever she tried to ask them questions, they told her to leave. She then said she wanted to make the person responsible for this mess pay. I told her I would ask the guys if it's okay for her to join. Wednesday, November 27th. School's cancelled today, but for a reason you wouldn't expect. You see, it's not that the teachers closed the school. It's that they couldn't get inside to open it. One of the janitors accidentally turned on the sprinklers, icing the whole thing, which made it too slippery to climb the stairs and unlock. They tried for 2 hours to get in, but after Mr. D'Artagnan shattered 3 of his vertebrae, they deemed it too dangerous to approach. Which meant I got to sleep in that morning. Yay!
Good day, gentlemen. Who the flip invited Alex Aruda? What does he even do?
Archie let me in. Now, about what happened on Sunday, I'm here to offer assistance.
Huh?
Thanks to your broadcasts, I've secretly been analyzing the data sent out. I've developed a mathematical formula to triangulate the origin point of the storm. Using this might help with your plan to stop the storm. You know, up until now, I've never thought about stopping the storm itself. I've only wanted to figure out what was happening and how to escape. But seeing all these mysterious events and unexplained phenomena we've experienced, I think stopping the storm might actually be our only hope at this point. What do you need? Well, specifically, I need one of you to go to a spot on the lake and place down a transceiver. With that, I can begin calculating.
Alright, I'm doing it.
Wait a minute, right now? We just did something big a few days ago.
I'm not going to fail this time. I'll stop this storm if it's the last thing I do.
Okay, but can we at least plan this out? Archie? That was really unexpected. Just like that, Archie charged off on his own. I'm not really sure why he's so eager to do this today, and especially on his own. Like, it's only been 3 days since the radio tower event, so I'm not sure why he doesn't want to lie low for a bit. Maybe I'm just a bad friend or something, but I would have totally waited a little longer. Friday, November 29th. Around 10 p.m. last night, I was alerted by Archie at my front door. Archie?
A little help, Greg.
Archie appeared to be half frozen and holding some kind of box. I asked him what happened to him, but he was too weak to tell me. Not knowing what else to do, I brought him inside. We were wondering where my mom and brother are. Mom was picking Manny up from his after-school advanced classes, but as soon as they got back to the car, they were confronted with this.
Come outside, boy. You are mine, boy. You hear this, boy?
Yeah, get out here now.
Apparently, Brian Fickleberry had somehow escaped from jail after the police officer who was watching him disappeared. At some point, his parents must have found him because when Mom got back to her car, he had locked himself inside to protect himself from being eaten by his parents. Well, I guess he was right all along. Sorry, Brian. Shifting the focus back to Archie, I quickly dragged him up to Mom's room and cranked up the heat. Dude, what the heck happened to you?
I got the transceiver. Check the radio.
I got the memo and checked the box, to which inside was his deed and radio, similar to the one Archie uses all the time. I fiddled around with it for a bit and got it working. The first thing I heard was his crazy beeping, I thought it was complete nonsense at first, but then I realized it was Morse code. But I don't know Morse code. Not knowing what to do, I started switching the dial again. I listened around for a bit until I heard a voice speak, and you wouldn't believe who I heard.
Hello?
Rodrick! Rodrick, you made it out!
Sure did. What did I tell you, huh?
I filled him in on what happened while he was gone. It was then that Rodrick told me what he was up to during this time.
I managed to get pretty far into the storm, but a huge blast of wind tipped over my van. Thankfully, there was a rescue team in the area which picked me up in time. Turns out the storm has some sort of ice wind barrier that makes it nearly impossible to pass sometimes. We also couldn't talk to the people inside for some reason.
Rodrick said the reason he didn't know about us trying to call him back was that he became an overnight celebrity after his escape and kept being invited on talk shows.
When I found out that you were asking for me, I came back to Plainview and waited to see if you'd call again. To my surprise, it was after you called my name this time, saying that someone inside the town was trying to stop them. Anyway, the situation now has made national news at this point, and the government is trying everything to stop the storm. What the flip was that?
Hold on, I'll talk to you later. I need to go investigate that. The noise came from downstairs, so that's where I went first. At first, I thought something fell in the living room. When I looked around, I didn't see anything. Then I checked the kitchen, still nothing. It was then that I remembered that the garage exists, and I decided to check that. Oh frick! Instantly I slammed the door shut. I think I caught him off guard because he didn't try to do anything. I quickly realized that the door wouldn't hold him for long. I grabbed my phone and started to call 911 before I remembered that we didn't have signal. The number you have called is unavailable to reach you. Oh crap! He's in the house! He's in the house! I quickly scrambled away from the door with what little time I had left. I had to choose between fight or flight. God, you little... That's right. The wimpy kid decided not to be wimpy anymore. This was my house, and I wasn't going to let him have it. But that knife stab didn't seem to do much, as he was still throwing punches. Eventually, I realized that I wasn't going to win in a fist fight with this maniac, so I ran upstairs to grab my father's old gun that we still have. Right as I got up to the top of the stairs, he grabbed me. In my panic state, I did the first thing that popped into my mind, almost like it was natural. I quickly dove over the bed and unlocked the safe. I looked over at Archie, who was extremely pale. I'm not sure if it was due to frostbite or fear. Then, not a second later, the guy opened the door. Instantly, I loaded every round in the gun. I'm not sure if I actually hit him, but even if I didn't, the gun still seemed to do the job. Not a second later, I saw him scampering down the stairs and out the garage window. Hey, Greg. Don't worry, Archie. It's over now. He's gone. I'm sorry about all this and what happened to your dad at the lab. Don't beat yourself up too much, Archie. You just wanted help. What did Archie mean by what happened to Dad? I don't recall ever telling him about what happened to my dad or anything about a lab. I tried to tell Rodrick everything that had just happened, but either he wasn't on the Mac anymore, or something must have disrupted the connection. It also didn't look like Mom and Manny were getting home anytime soon. So, with there being nothing else I can do, I'm going to try to sleep. It's one of those nights again. That cold night. It's there in my restless dreams. I see him. This is the same dream, right? Mom? Will Dad wake up?
No, he can't, sweetie.
I'm sorry, kid. I didn't... None of this happened. Not to you. Not to him. Your dad is a pretty cool guy. Cooler than what you think. That's what Dad. You should know that.
Come on, Greg. Let's go back to the car.
Bye, Daddy. Wait, who was that man? Go back. Hey kid, go back. Stop. Thursday, November 28th. I woke up in a cold sweat. It was that same dream I've been having ever since the storm began. But this time, it felt different. All this time, I thought it was a nightmare, seeing Dad speaking to me like that. But it was someone else all this time. Someone who I recognize from somewhere. I think if I can find out who he is, he might be the key to all of this. I'm getting sidetracked. Let me show you what's happening currently.
So what did exactly happen last night, kid?
Oh my gosh, how many times do I gotta tell you? To catch you up to speed, a few hours after I woke up, Mom, along with a bunch of police, finally showed up. They also took Archie to the hospital, which honestly, I'm kinda surprised they thought to do that. Reason being, these guys are complete idiots. Halfway through the investigation, one of them said, "Why are we here again?" and started making himself a sandwich in our kitchen with our food. Oi lad, got any Vegemite? Seemed like the only competent person left was Sheriff Palsy.
You think this is more than just a break-in?
I have one suspect in particular. Ever since that fight, I kept thinking about who could have done this. I'm certain the criminal wasn't going to operate in these conditions. I don't have beef with anyone in particular, but I do know some people who have beef with me. What's the name of the officer with all the scars? Ryan? Yeah, that guy. Where was he last night?
Well, holy crap. He might actually be the burglar, Greg.
We then decided to go to the hospital and talk to Archie. I was surprised to see that everyone else was waiting there too.
I think it's best if Alex explains all the waypoint stuff first.
Thanks. With the waypoint Mr. Sampson placed at the lake, I finally managed to geolocate the epicenter of the storm, a laboratory located in a secret area near the old quarry. The place has been shut down for years, so you'll have a tough time getting there.
You're not gonna help?
I'm like 4'2". I have to wear a snorkel just to go for a walk in this weather. Do you think I'm really gonna help?
Oh, my bad.
Can we get back to the topic at hand? Archie's going to explain the rest.
I know that laboratory because it's where my father works. I didn't want to believe he might be connected to it. I wanted to believe he just got snowed in and couldn't reply. But now that I know that the storm came from his workplace, as time passed, I kept getting more and more desperate. And well, I can't deny anymore. So, I lied to you guys. I lied about trying to research the storm, when in reality, I just wanted to save my dad. I thought that if I told people my dad was involved in this whole thing, they'd blame me even more for their problems.
That was a bombshell. We all had a ton of questions to ask.
Archie, why would I hate you? We're friends. Not everyone's as kind as you, Rowley.
What kind of work did your father do?
I don't know much. He was under NDA. But from my own speculations, it was probably a military project of some sort. I should also mention he's a quantum physicist, if that helps. Surprisingly, there was one person who didn't ask any questions.
Hey, aren't you going to say anything? We agreed that we'd need to find a way to the lab, as the roads would probably be completely snowed over now. Archie also explained that the storm would be at its strongest near the facility, so we needed to prepare. Hey, Greg, mind if I talk to you for a minute outside? Are you sure Archie's telling the whole story? Well, to be honest, you're probably right. But at the same time, I had to pause for a moment. I was about to say that I didn't care if he was lying. I knew Archie probably left out some info, but in my heart, I didn't really. I know it's crazy for me to feel this way after all we've been through in this short span of time. We've been searching for answers, yet when posed with the most profound one of all, I just turned a blind eye. Do you think that one is better to suffer with the truth, or to live without it? You're right, Miss Hills. You can't trust that boy. You. What makes you think you, of all people, can say who's trustworthy? Oh, shut your trap. That boy is nowhere close to the person you think. I don't care what you think. I care what I think. If I choose to believe he's a good guy, then that's my decision, you old casket. Oh, well, of course you'd think that. The Heffleys and Sampsons are always making my life miserable. Why are you even here? Oh, I just went to meet a business partner of mine, recovering here, and figured to make a lovely stop to chat in that room you were just in. Although, frankly, Miss Hills,
With a personality like yours, I'd half expected you to not even be here with the rest of us, and instead be with your family. Oh, oops, forgot about the incident, my bad.
You petard! I'll kill you!
I guess our conversation was loud enough to attract the attention of everyone. As they quickly poured into the hall, the mayor quickly read the room and walked away before anyone could ask any other questions. But as he did, he pulled out his phone call. Friday, November 29th. Today at school was chaos. So there's this really fat kid at my school, right? Lyman Eaterholt. Anyway, the school recently announced they were going to be rationing food to comply with the city's order. And boy oh boy, Lyman was not happy to hear that.
Oi, move your old lunch, lady. I'm gonna get my food whether we're rationing or not, huh? How you doing, boy?
Lyman's well over 400 pounds, so those poor lunch ladies couldn't really stop him from devouring everything. But thankfully, the campus police could. But I'm guessing Lyman's actions triggered everyone's pent-up frustration, as the next thing I know, there was a school-wide brawl. I saw people throwing food, some giving wedgies. I even saw Albert drowning someone in a tub of yogurt. Normally, I wouldn't participate in these kind of events. This time, however, it was too fun to pass up, especially with all the doom and gloom recently. 10 up! For the first time in a while, I actually had some fun with my friends. I think Archie managed to have some fun too. Things quickly turned for the worse, however, when Lyman tried to eat one of the freshmen during the brawl.
Get in here, motherfucker.
Thankfully, the school security guard managed to tase him fast enough, but not before the kid lost a good portion of his hair. Because of the brawl, everyone involved got detention. Thankfully, I managed to weasel my way out of it by hiding in a garbage bin while they were rounding everyone up. I hid there for who knows how long until the school day was over. I packed my bag to leave and walked outside, but when I got to the front of the school, someone familiar pulled up right in front of me.
There's no time to explain, Greg. Find your friends and get in.
I was both surprised and unsurprised that something like this would happen at this point. I heeded his advice and sneaked my way to detention. But getting there wasn't easy, as a bunch of teachers were roaming the halls. At one point, I had to hide in a locker to prevent my capture.
So I just saw someone.
Carefully navigating the halls, I got to the detention room and unlocked the door. Thankfully, the teacher in that class is always blacked out drunk by third period, so we didn't have to worry about him.
How many times do I gotta say, Jude, I didn't stick my butterfinger up no cat's bunk hole.
What the actual flip are these accusations this guy's facing?
We got in the car and the sheriff turned on the radio. You probably would believe it by now.
I, the mayor of Claire, Palsy, no longer of Plainview, and subsequently announced he is immediately wanted for his arrest, along with the infamous criminals is Heffley and Archie Sampson.
Crap. Well, I guess there's no going back now. Mayor Franny had enough of our protest and is cracking down. I could hear sirens in the distance, so I'm guessing the police have finally been mobilized. But then, Riley said something that got us all thinking.
Why does the mayor have to be so mean to us?
Now look, I know what Riley's just said was really stupid and rhetorical, but stop and think. Why is he such an a-hole now? I mean, we didn't really even know the mayor before the whole mess. I thought he was an okay guy. Managed to fund the soup kitchen somehow, which was first in the community. But other than that, they didn't give two craps about him. But as soon as this whole storm happened, and we started digging around, he just flipped the script and became a tyrant. He definitely knows the truth about this whole mess, or at least more parts than us. This entire thing just pees me off. Because of this increase in police activity, Palsy had to drive slowly through the back alleys of town. While we were driving, I saw some of the sadder parts of town.
Remember, folks, it's not getting warmer tonight, and probably not tomorrow. So please stay inside and keep warm with your families.
Guess there's no going home now. Really sucks having someone like him to be in charge. It's just not fair. A while later, we got near my street. Palsy parked the car in a hidden area and walked up sneakily. Riley offered for us to stay at his house since, surprisingly, he didn't have an arrest warrant like the rest of us. Although, honestly, I think even the mayor believed it would be hard to convince people that Rowley's a terrorist.
Listen, guys, you have to have some faith in me. This fat ginger kid really is a member of Al-Qaeda.
Yeah, right, like Rowley's a member of that. He's a member of the Rainbow and Kitten Fun Squad, actually.
Yeah, boo, you stink.
Bro, I'll call you, there's such a random one. A random group Rowdy would be a part of. Anyways,
I also stopped by my house to pick up some stuff like the radio as well as my mother and brother. We had to do it very sneakily, though, as we were concerned there'd be cops roaming around. Around 5 in the morning, we had settled in. Everyone was still a little shaken up, so we just decided to relax for a while. I've got to say, Riley's dad surprisingly had a great sense of cinema.
Okay, so the movies I've got are Breaking Point, The Bound by Blood quintilogy, Diagnompa, Pragmatic, Five Named Clive, and Atomic Age.
However, while we were watching absolute cinema, abysmal dog crap pulled up. Police have released the suspects' faces. Seriously, that was the best photo they had? As they were showing their photos, they also brought up a familiar face. Police are still looking for Brian M. Finkelberry, who has been missing since November 27th after he escaped Plainview City Detention Center. If you have any information, call this number. I figured that now would be the best time to explain to everyone what exactly we are going to do now. So after the broadcast ended, I gathered everyone into the kitchen to discuss our final game plan. The plan is to meet up at 11 AM tomorrow. We load up into 2 separate cars and head out to the entrance of mine. Once we're there, we'll split the 2 groups and head up in different directions. That way, if the mayor has some sort of plan of his own, whether it's his goons or something else, he might just be able to get around it. Once both groups get to the lab entrance, we either hope that someone left the door open or we use a crowbar. After that, I don't know what we will do. What? I don't live there. I don't know what's inside. But before all that, tonight, I'm going to call Rodrick and let him know what we're about to do. I'm counting on Rodrick to come through with the rescue. Rodrick, you there?
Yeah, what's up?
We found out after the storm. It's in a laboratory near the old quarry. Tomorrow we're planning to go there and see what's inside. And hopefully it will be a solution on to how to end this thing once and for all.
Thank goodness you're just in time to tell us that.
I was a little confused about what he meant by that, but what he played next was very unexpected.
Hello, my fellow American citizens. I'm President Barack Obama, but many of you know me as Michelle Obama's husband. I'm going here to talk to you about the recent ecological disaster in Plainview.
Obama? As he played the audio recording, I'm drawing so you can see. I was kind of confused where this was going.
If the situation doesn't improve, the storm may prove a threat to international security. In this result, we may have to use nuclear options. Sir, what do you have to say to the people still trapped in there? Was this storm caused by the Russians? Does this storm have any relation to the so-called Chaos Emeralds?
My jaw dropped. Apparently some people in the government were considering whether or not to nuke the storm. Rodrick said he will assemble rescue teams along with FEMA for when the storm clears. Seeing as I still had time to talk, I asked Rodrick one last question about something that was bugging me. Rodrick, do you know what job Dad had before he died?
Whoa, I don't really remember much. I think it was something tech-based.
Come on, is that really all you know?
You're asking me, you know. If you really want to know, try asking Mom.
And so I did. Mom, I want to talk about Dad.
Huh? Where's this coming from?
It's been coming for quite a while now. I want to know exactly what happened to Dad 8 years ago.
Your father had an accident at the business place he worked at. End of story.
Except it's not. It wasn't just an ordinary accident. I remember it clearly now. He had ice across his face and everything. There was more to his death than you're telling me.
Your father was a scientist at that lab. Is that what you want to hear? You want me to validate your theory? I know you want to know more about him, but I just can't tell you, okay? It's just too painful to bring up. I was going to tell you this when you graduated. If you're up to it, you can look in the attic for Dad's stuff he left for you. That'll tell you everything.
I don't know what to feel right now. I'm feeling a whole bunch of things. I think I'll just go to bed and deal with it in the future. Thankfully, I convinced Riley to give me his bed so I didn't have to sleep on the floor. It's there in my restless sleep. I don't see him anymore. I don't see anything. I wonder, why do we dream? Is it just another form of escapism? Or is it because we simply cannot bear to confront our tomorrows? Saturday, November 30th. Greg, we gotta go now. Get up. Huh? What's going on, Raleigh? Yeah, definitely not how I would have wanted to be woken up. I was caught off guard by how scared he sounded. As I wiped off his slobber, I heard a noise outside and quickly put two and two together.
Put your hands where we can see them. There's nowhere to run. You are all under arrest for being terrorists of Plainview.
There was a snowball's chance in hell I was going to listen to them. I turned around, grabbed everything I needed for the mission, kissed my mom goodbye, and bolted out the back door along with everyone else. I had to book it too because they brought a whole dog team with them. I should climb over the fence right before they got me, and during the confusion, someone must have led the group in the wrong direction because I ended up on my own. Making my way through the forest, I was thankful we had discussed going this route to escape in case something like this happened. After walking up the hill, I went face to face with the destruction around me. If you don't remember, these are the houses that are burnt down a few weeks ago. It was pretty eerie being alone here. In the distance, I spotted someone familiar. Oh, hey. I just have to pick up a few things from my house. So, I guess this is it. I guess you're right. A few minutes later, the rest of the group pulled up for vehicles and we drove off. Just so you know, it's about to get really cold soon, so you should crank up the heater. Archie said that the storm should have been like a sort of final barrier to get through, and that the temperature should drop to minus 50 Fahrenheit. That's actually a little warmer than I thought it would be, or at least compared to the last few days. It's dropped to minus 21 Fahrenheit. I should actually apologize for not mentioning the current temperature earlier. It's not that I've forgotten, it's just that I haven't found a good time to mention it. Anyway, right as I wrote this part down, we encountered the barrier.
Brace yourselves, kids.
Archie wasn't kidding when he said how dangerous this place was. A few hours later, about 1 or 2 hours later, we made it to the lab, and you wouldn't believe what we were seeing. What am I looking at? The lab was emitting this big laser beam, and that's probably what's causing the storm.
Well, I'll be. In all my years, I've never seen anything like this.
Just what the flip was your father working on, Archie?
I don't know whatever this is.
Right, as we were walking towards the entrance, we saw that we weren't alone.
Area's all clear. No signs of Rodrick Heffley's group yet.
Roger that.
There was only a single guard out front. I'm guessing the mayor either thought he'd catch us before we got here, or that we wouldn't be able to make it in the first place. While we were debating what we should do to get around him, the guy must have got bored and pulled out his music.
Ugh, Joshy, I hate this guy.
What did he say about Joshy, Greg?
Personally, I didn't really write down what he just said because I hate Joshy too. But Rowley must have thought he was Antichrist or something, because next thing I know, he freaking jumped the dude.
Nobody talks bad about Joshy, he gets away with it.
What the?
Remember, you never speak ill of Joshy in front of Rowley ever again.
Not another step.
Oh, come on.
Well, well, well. Look what we have here. Got your hopes up just a little bit, didn't I? And here I thought you were better than this party. I told you there'd be consequences. So, are we going to do this the easy way or the hard way?
Right behind the mayor, there were a bunch of cops. I'm guessing the one with all the bandages is Ryan, who, honestly, I'm surprised he's even standing after all the punishment he's taken these last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're right, Sandico. There are consequences for getting everyone in this mess.
Yeah, whoop his eye, Parsley. Woo!
In all seriousness, when Parsley threw that first punch, all hell broke loose. The police started opening fire on us, and we all scattered around the entrance. We only had 3 guns among the 7 of us, so to say we were outmanned and outgunned would be an understatement.
Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Who's that there wanting to give me the shotgun?
Listen, Greg, Archie, Holly, go inside. We'll hold them off.
No wanting to die, we listened to him and made a break for the door. We managed to pry open the door just in time before we got hit by any bullets. Right as I closed the door, I got one last glimpse at the outside.
I can't lie, Parsley. I've been waiting for this day when I get to fight you.
Aren't you 0-2 against a bunch of teenagers?
Man, I wish I could have seen that fight. Too bad I'll never get to it. As we made our way inside the lab, I could shake the sense of the dread I got from being here, like the lab itself didn't want us here. However, we encountered a problem at our first door.
See, yeah, level key, odd, required to access main
Unfortunately, this door was a bit too complex to just pry open with a crowbar. At least the place has electricity. We looked around and saw that the main hall had about 3 entrances. The one we just approached led to the main lab, the place we probably needed to go. The other two, we weren't sure where they led. Hey, guys, look, a map. We decided that the most likely place for a keycard would be in offices, so we headed there. Unfortunately, the pathway to the first floor offices was blocked off due to a cave-in, or well, snowing. So we couldn't check there first. After prying open a few more doors and climbing a few stairs, we found ourselves in an indoor walkway type bridge. The walkway was eerily pretty. Something about how everything looked frozen in time, both literally and figuratively. It was morbidly pleasing. As we took in the view, the ground began to shake. Next thing we knew, the whole place began to collapse.
Oh my goodness, it's an avalanche. Run, guys, run.
Looked behind me and the whole wing was coming down. It was an indoor avalanche. As we started to sprint, I could feel the snow and dust start to pick up speed. And as it caught up to us, that was a close one. Looks like we're in office hell now. From the looks of it, this area must have been the office. If we were going to find the keycards anywhere, it'd be here. Although I'll be honest, I wouldn't mind if we found more info on what the flip the government was doing here in Plainview. Man, sure hope I don't end up working in one of these 25 years down the road. 25 years later. Damn, despite this place having electricity still, a lot of these PCs are pretty banged up. Yeah, it looks like someone smashed a lot of these things. Archie said he tried to find a working PC in the building, and Holly and I would search for physical evidence as to what was going on here, especially a keycard. You're probably sick of me mentioning that. I checked the first desk, and there wasn't anything useful. Most of the files were technical related, like things needing repairs, orders for new parts, and filings regarding management. Actually, there were a lot of reports of things needing repairs. Similarly, the following desks I checked in this area weren't filled with much. Find anything over there? No, not much. But from the looks of it, this place was running out of money a lot. She showed me a bunch of papers showing how this place was almost always in the red, and that they were constantly asking for grants and money. For a military project, it seems odd that they didn't have money. A minute later, Archie called us over to the desk he was at, and I saw that he had managed to get one of the computers operational. Okay, so most of these PCs are password locked, but luckily, this one isn't. It says the following. Hello, Daniel. Welcome to your first week at Skady Labs. We are so happy that you joined our team. Check with the chief scientist for details about the project. His desk is at the back inside the closed office. The senior desk is at the back? Let's go check that out. I looked around more and saw that this area was completely trashed, and that the computer was practically eviscerated. However, I looked on top of a filing cabinet and found the key card. But that wasn't all, as there was a few files tucked up there too. I wiped off the frost and checked it. I wonder what it's going to say.
Project Boreas. Incident Log 4. Code Black. June 16th. 2008 Incident Report Log of Code Black on March 3rd, 2007. Injury Report. Includes 7 treated for frostbite. 32 with stampede-related injuries. Fertility Report. Senior Field Scientist Frank J. Heffley was killed in relation. Incident Report Rundown. On November 3rd at 5:45. 17 members from RYL institutions, 3 from Humbert Lab and 14 from NASA, 3 from Redacted, 2 from Redacted, Redacted board members of Redacted, and Mayor Sandico Brotto enter test lab Alpha for viewing of the Boreas particle ray. At 6:22, Junior Technician Johnny A reports damage in the fiber lining of the inner power conductor connecting to the main control room. Senior staff ignore this, citing See Report Log 2. At 6:25, researcher Liam S. reportedly said that something was wrong with the control panel B. At 6:27, lead scientist Curtis S. signals particle failure and issues evacuation. At 6:28, particle ray suffers a backflow error,
which results in cold gases flowing into the Control Room 1, Control Room 2, main reactor, and the lower level machine room. Again, at 6:28, lead scientist Curtis S. signals that all control panels, A to E, have been rendered inoperable. Senior Julie Bajovsik states that a critical failure will result in 2 minutes and that they need to shut the whole thing down. Leslie surrounding Plainview area is dismantled. At 6:29, co-lead scientist Frank H. jumps into main particle ray and shuts it off. Despite everything that paper said, there was one thing on this desk that said everything it couldn't. On the desk, center back of the room, was a picture framed sitting face down.
Yeah, I knew. I've known about what happened for a long time.
What?
There were nights he'd get drunk and ramble about this whole accident thing, and he'd always mention your father. He said they were good friends.
What Archie just... When he said that, my mind kinda... Why can't I stop thinking about what I said? I told myself I didn't care. I still care. You knew. You knew what happened to my father the entire time. You never bothered to tell me who you were the entire time.
I didn't know how to start that conversation, Greg.
When we first met, was that you taking pity on me? Was that your way of making it up to me?
No, damn it, no. When we first met, I didn't know who you were. I didn't even know your name until after you left Parsley's car. And that's not even what happened back then.
You know what? I'm not gonna write down what the flip happens between now and the flipping control room. Not this stupid freaking diary. Update. We got to the control room. It wasn't pretty. It's freezing in here. The place looked worse than any area we've been to, most likely because it was closer to the thing that was probably causing all this. As I got closer to the main reactor, there was a person frozen right in front of the energy beam thing. There was a lone person sitting right in front of the reactor. He almost completely was encased in ice.
This is my father.
I'm sorry, Archie. Hey, wait, he's holding something. As we took in the moment, all he knows that Archie's dad was holding something. It took some effort to pry him to let go because of all the ice, but with enough effort, we pried it from him. It turned out to be a cassette tape. Miraculously, it was still functioning in these conditions.
This is Curtis Sampson, lead scientist at SCADE Labs, and the creator of the Boreas geochrogenetic field generator. I'll cut to the chase, since I don't know how long I have left. All you need to do to turn off the machine is press both RC and FC buttons, then flick the yellow square node off on panel C, then push up all the levers on panel B, press the black square button on panel D, and finally press the big red button on panel A. If that doesn't work, go into the basement level 2 and shut down the geothermal generator in whatever way you can. In the events that either of those doesn't work, someone will need to manually turn off the particle wave right next to the epicenter. And if that doesn't work, Lord help us all. With that out of the way, allow me to explain how the heck I ended up in this mess. I'll be brief. It was all Sandico's fault. Not originally, but he was the origin of all the events that led to right now. After the incident of 2008, the one involving the death of my friend, Frank. Was it my fault that the first storm happened that ruined lives? Yes, I admit it. I messed up back then. The incident basically cancelled any prospects of Sandico's political career, and well, he wasn't too happy about that. It was tough for the next 8 years. Any opportunity he could get, Sandico would see that we suffer some kind of misfortune. Budget cuts, layoffs, talking behind our backs, trying to get the project canned, all that crap. Then, that leads us to today. Sandico, I think he wanted us to run a test for a bunch of bigwigs. I don't know. My mind's going fuzzy. But I knew that the site wasn't ready for testing right now. Months of missing funds meant repairs and replacements couldn't happen, meaning this machine could blow up again. Sandico said if I didn't do it, my last work would be gone. But luckily, I thought I had an ace up my sleeve. Blackmail on everything he tried to do. Sandico didn't like that. One thing led to another, and here I am bleeding out trying to shove this damn thing. Unfortunately, I don't have the strength left to move my arms or legs anymore. So, I'm leaving this behind to make sure the truth doesn't get lost, and it should go without saying to the Heffleys. I'm sorry about what happened to your father, Susan. I'm sorry my actions led to his sacrifice. And lastly to my son, I'm sorry I have to leave you like this, but I know you'll be alright. After all, if my hypothesis is correct, I believe you were or are trying to figure out how to get to me. I love you, son. This is
After he said that, the tape stopped playing before looping again. The tape left us a lot to think about. How much of what he said was true? He never explained what the true intent of the machine was. Who were the redacted people at Skady Lab? What's been going through Sandico's head all this time? Did Sandico really force Archie's dad to power up? Or was Sandico the one who tried? Was Curtis's mistake really to blame for my father's death? Or was he just blaming himself? Everyone was feeling a lot of emotions. Fortunately, one of those variables confronted us soon after. Look who finally decided to show up. Look who's here.
Well, frick me. I didn't think you all would get here faster than me. This place really is more of a dump now, more than it ever was. Kinda crazy how we got to this point. Well, I guess I owe all of you an explanation.
We heard everything, Sandico.
Huh?
Archie's dad left a tape behind and revealed everything.
Oh, is that so? If I were to tell you he left out a few crucial details, would you believe me?
Heck freaking no! Oh, shut up. You only said that because you don't like me.
You know, if the script was flipped and I was a dying man with the phony tape, you'd totally believe me. But no, just a Nepo baby and his mass murdering genius father.
Whoa. Where the frick did she get that gun from? That caught all of us off guard, especially Sandico, who I don't think expected a teenage girl of all people to pull a gun on him. The only mass murderer here is you! Whoa, Holly, calm down. Where'd you even get that from?
Do it, I dare you.
If Sandico uses maybe half his brain, he can figure that out before I blow the other out. Now I'm stuck in a weird spot. Do I let her kill him or spare him? While I was thinking it over, I realized something. What if this is what Sandico wants? Holly, look, I know you want to kill him. So do me and Archie.
Oh, don't listen.
Then why are you stopping me? Killing him isn't going to help any of us right now. And if you do that, you will just be giving him one more thing. I'd rather have Sandico suffer long term than given an easy way out. Thankfully, my words managed to get through to her and only lowered her gun. But what she said next made me even more conflicted on what I should say. Okay, fine. I won't kill him. I just got a little angry, okay? But can I at least shoot him in the leg? I guess that's fine. At least he won't be able to move around freely.
Holly! No! You should have killed me, you little slag. He spared you. Well, you shouldn't have.
Sandico was actually holding his own against both of us. Either Toby actually knew how to fight, or he was actually good at taking hits. However, we were so focused on beating the crap out of him that we neglected to look behind us. Took me a few seconds to pick myself up and figure out what happened. As I gathered myself, the whole console was destroyed. My only guess as to why was because of how long it's been running in these conditions. But to my horror, I remembered something else.
In the event that either of those doesn't work, Someone will need to manually turn off the particle wave right next to the epicenter. And if that doesn't work,
Greg, keep it busy. I'll turn it off.
Wait, Archie, no! I didn't even have time to say anything. I realized that this was it. The final confrontation. With all that's happened, all the chaos this storm has caused, all the death and destruction, I locked the frick in.
If you just give me the tape, Greg, we can all go back to how it used to be. I'm not going back.
I wiped the blood off my knuckles and quickly ran over to save Archie. I jumped over the window and was blasted by a bunch of icy cold wind and energy. I could literally both feel and see my hands freezing. Still, I trudged on and got closer and closer to the main beam.
Greg, no! You'll freeze too!
At least, it won't be you!
You saved me? After all that my family and I have done to you?
I've lost a lot of people these past few years. I couldn't bear to lose another. I won't let the past repeat itself. That only muddies the future. As we collected ourselves, we quickly remembered someone. Holly! We ran over to check on her and she seemed alright.
Oh, my head.
With everything here wrapped up and the day saved, we left this place behind. However, as we were leaving, Holly brought up something that honestly has become very noticeable at this point.
Since when was your family so good at martial arts?
Honestly, who knows? Maybe Dad was a Shaolin monk in his spare time. A few pried open doors later, we walked into the lobby again, and you wouldn't believe what we were witnessing.
Ugh, oh thank goodness, you kids are alright.
Everyone looked pretty beaten up. Don't even get me started on Rowley. No clue what happened to him. We immediately started asking what the heck happened. They said that the fighting lasted about an hour, and that they only stopped when they ran out of ammunition. So now they were all in a stalemate. It was then that I asked what the frick happened to Rowley. What the frick happened to you?
Arby's.
Turns out one of the police officers were carrying a full bottle of Arby's ketchup in his jacket, specifically Arby's, and when Rowley was beating him up, it burst. It was then that I also remembered that Parsley was fighting Ryan.
I don't think you'll be causing any trouble for a while.
It was then that I told them what had happened upstairs, that the machine was now turned off, and that Sandika was defeated. I then said we should go outside now, as there was nothing the police could do now.
Everyone! There he is! He's reaching! Hold your fire, this man isn't black.
What the flip? What? The storm is over now, and help from outside is on the way. There's no reason to keep fighting anymore. It's over.
That's what you think?
Oh my freaking goodness. Here we go again.
It's not over.
Sandiko, can you just give up already?
No. I'm still in charge. I have the power. I've already called for backup, and once they're here, I'll be holding a public execution. Look who it is.
Rodrick! He finally makes his return, and he wasn't alone. With him were dozens of army, FEMA, and National Guard troops. With them being here, the police were outnumbered, 5-1. And I'm guessing they realized that Sandiko was a sinking ship and bailed on him.
Sandiko, you're under arrest for, everything. And, manipulating the police force.
Not sure if that plan of theirs is going to work, but the bar is so low, it beats nothing. My man Greg, taking charge. Glad you made it in time. I'm about to explain to Rodrick everything that he missed while he was gone, but he told me that now wasn't the time, as they had to clean up everything and evacuate some people to the hospital, and that I should save it for when we get home. I was a little confused by that, but then I remembered that Sandiko and Ryan were pretty beat up. Speaking of Ryan, this is what he looks like currently. So like, do we untie him first, or what the flip? This guy, Sheriff Palsy turned this guy into a bull. Damn. With all that mentioned, there wasn't much left for us here now, so we got in our cars and went back to the city.
Epilogue. Friday, June 19th. Okay, so I haven't written this thing for like 7 months, but not because I forgot to or because I lost it. Actually, that's a lie. I did lose it for a bit, but that's a whole book on why to itself, more people, ugh. The real reason is that I made the decision myself, and because I feel like it would be easier to write down everything that's happened since November, now that the situation has kind of reached its conclusion. Where should I start? How about the immediate cleanup?
Delta Force, fall back.
He's getting away, Beckley.
Ironically, it wasn't the snow and ice that was the big problem. It was the Mingos. For a few weeks after the storm, the Mingos launched several incursions on Plainview, stealing, burning down homes, and attacking people. They've gone into some sort of crazed state because the whole storm messed up their hibernation cycle. This led the army to declare war on them and begin launching attacks. The whole situation ended up becoming a second Vietnam until the government signed a peace treaty.
I solemnly swear on behalf of the United States military, blah 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 blah.
Beckley agrees.
Anyway, on the rest of the cleanup, after the war, Governor Baker sent over a bunch of dozers and began clearing the roads. He also sent food and water, as well as signed a temporary order making heating our homes free. They also held a press conference explaining what the heck happened, but of course, they let out a few details.
The facility was taken over by violent, boring terrorists looking to access weapons of mass destruction, of which the former mayor was the leader of.
However, one good thing they mentioned is that they were able to verify that some of the things Curtis said about Sandiko were true. They then said they'd launch an investigation into possible other illegal rings Sandiko had connections to. So overall, despite the government sort of being partly to blame for the whole mess, at least they did a good job cleaning it up. Okay, that's about all I have to say about that segment. I guess the next thing I should talk about is some of the important people I met during that time.
Ice ice baby, vanilla ice ice baby, vanilla ice ice baby, 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 ice ice baby.
Ever since Sandiko woke up from his coma after the battle, all he's been saying are the lyrics to the Vanilla Ice rap song, Ice Ice Baby. According to the doctors, Sandiko's mind has been completely broken, and now he's been declared clinically insane. The police say he's probably going to be locked inside an insane asylum for the rest of his life.
You been any lard, boy? Because I'm feeling a bit hungry. And you know I like to eat some tubby boys like you.
You know, I know Sandiko's done a lot of horrible and irreparable stuff, but I actually kind of feel bad for just this once, especially with having to deal with Lyman as a neighbor. However, it wasn't just Sandiko who was in trouble, as there were many others too. The one I'm talking about is Ryan, as late last month, he was finally released from the hospital into police custody.
When I get out of here, I'm gonna give you all a piece of my mind.
Last I heard of him, he's been locked away behind bars for the next 50 years or so. But there's still one person I need to bring up, Sheriff Palsy.
As of today, I'm no longer this town's sheriff.
That honestly shocked us. We thought he might have stayed for a while, or even become the new chief. But Palsy, why? I'm sorry, boys. I just think I'm not fit to be in law enforcement anymore. He said that after the incident, he wasn't sure where he stood with the law, and that he wasn't sure if being in a system like that would provide justice for the people who need it. He then mentioned going back to the farm to care for his grandparents and figure out what he wants to do now. Honestly, I was really sad to hear that he was leaving. I owe him a lot for what he did for us back then. Thank you, Sheriff. Now that stuff is out of the way, I can finally bring the focus back to us and the town of Plainview. The town's been kind of rocky as of lately, as you could guess.
What do you mean you've run out?
Sorry, there's no more.
Man, Many buildings still need to be fixed, along with many families being broken or lost to the storm. Two of the people who are Holly and her younger sister, Piper, they've moved into their grandparents' home as of now. While their families remains gone, Holly and Piper seem to be getting better day by day. We've also needed to elect a bunch of new people to office. That being the case because most of the city council was involved with San Diego in some way, so we had to re-elect basically everyone. Honestly, the whole election was a crap show, as a lot of people dropped out or were barred. This ended up leading to the most random of people running for office. And Mr. what the flip is that name? Slosh. How do you plan to combat the rise of unemployment in Plainview?
Hey, wait a minute. This isn't cockatoos.
However, when the town decided to reopen our major grocery stores, they ended up discovering something. Or should I say, someone. A few weeks into the clean, Brian was found completely frozen solid in a chunk of ice inside the back room freezer. No one's sure how exactly he forced himself solid, but amazingly, his plan actually worked. A little too well, as it took the city several weeks to thaw him out. It was during that time that he became a tourist attraction. Come all, and see the amazing Pickleberry ice pop. As for school, not much has changed, except that the detention teacher finally got fired.
Get out the road! Get out the way!
Oh no, watch out, guys!
Still have no idea how he lasted this long. Archie and I are still friends, and along with everyone else, we all would end up having a bunch of adventures during these past few weeks. Honestly, it's been a lot of fun. However, very recently, we all got called to the school office for a special reason.
Would Greg Heffley, Archie Sampson, and Ollie Hills please report to the office immediately? Like, right now, please?
On one hand, I was a little happy that I got to ditch a little bit of algebra class, but on the other hand, the tone of the school secretary made me a little nervous.
Hello, you there. I am Major General Thompson Greenville.
Hey.
I'm sure you're all aware at this point of the Boreas project. I'm here making sure that you have not told anyone about it, as the project was highly classified.
Hey, whoa, where's this going? The general ended up telling us more about the Boreas project, and that it was supposed to be used either as a climate control laser or just a plain old laser beam. Honestly, this whole conversation happened right after algebra class, so I kind of forgot most of what he said. What I do remember was the government agents taking my journal away.
Now, under normal circumstances, breaking into a government facility and accessing classified documents would land you in federal prison.
Hey, you can't do that.
I'm not finished. But if you are not to tell anyone about whatever this project is and never speak about it again, the president would be willing to pardon you.
I take it that if we say no, we
go to prison? Well, probably not for breaking into the facility. You'd probably win that in court. For disclosing government secrets that foreign nations could acquire, that's a different story.
Only the specific Boreas stuff?
Yes. The rest of your story should be alright. And most of the other stuff is already being disclosed.
I'll agree to that, but only if you give me my journal back.
I suppose that's fair, but we're going to edit some of the stuff you wrote out.
I know you might be mad at me for doing that, and I get it, but remember what I said earlier? I think in this case, the world can live without it just this once. But as he gave my journal back, he said something I felt like he should have said earlier.
Oh, before you all leave, I'd like to give you my sincerest gratitude for what you did back then. Enjoy the rest of your day, folks.
After that, he left, and I've never seen him again. A few days later, we were flown out to meet the big cheese himself.
I solemnly swear that I, Barack Obama, President of the United States of America, hereby pardon you free on all charges.
Anyways, after that, we had to leave quickly because the president was supposed to meet with someone who wanted to discuss the Chaos Emeralds, whatever that means. And I think that's everything until now. So now I can finally begin talking about what happened today. Friday, June 19th, again. Today's the last day of high school, and I'm finally going to check the box in the attic that Mom mentioned. I know she technically said to wait until my actual graduation, but I can't help it anymore. I need to see it. But just getting to the end of high school was a challenge in itself, as the last day of school is always chaotic, this year especially. Well, the senior prank this year, this 12th grader named Daniel Boris did nothing but raise boars for the last 4 months. Then on the last day of school, he released all of them. Thankfully, RG managed to create some sort of soap gun and sprayed the stairs before the horde could climb up. Eventually, we had to run again, and all 6 of us ended up barricading ourselves in the music room. But that put us in an even worse spot, as there's only one door to get through, and the hogs were starting to break it down. Thankfully, however, Shrug spotted a bush outside the window. Unfortunately, the window was locked, so we just threw Albert outside. Wait! Oh, no! And that's how my summer vacation started. As we walked home, I kept thinking about November. I remember for so long. I always hated that month. It always reminded me of that day when I was told Dad wasn't coming home. But now, when I still think of that memory, it feels different now. Like it's been washed with new colors. I'm also probably going to remember this new moment. There's no way I could ever forget what happened back there. Back in that lab. Back in that month. For most, the storm was a great tragedy. For me, it helped me grow and get closure. I know that's not the case for most people. I think they'd say my idea of calling something of that scale a positive experience as insane and insensitive. But I don't think I can call it exactly evil either. Perhaps that's kind of what life's all about. Life's not inherently out to get you. You can't always call the same thing good or bad. It's those choices you make that define where life goes. Eventually, we ended up at a fork in the road, or well, a sidewalk. It's there we split to go back home. We're gonna meet up later for a party, but we're gonna take care of some stuff first. See you guys later. Bye. Oh yeah, I was gonna pick up some things at Chirag's, so I'll meet with you later too, Greg. Alright, see ya. Well, I guess I better get going too. Also, before I go, I never got a chance to say this when it all happened, but thanks for letting me stay at your house for a bit back in November, and for making me reconsider murder. No problem, Holly. Thanks for everything. Oh, and Piper's also grateful. Just like that, she walked away, and it was just Archie and me. Well, I'd better get going too. Actually, do you mind walking with me for a bit? I was a little surprised he said, but my house was already pretty close, so this little detour wouldn't matter much. I know this place. Back when we first met, I didn't know much of you. As I said, I only found out who you were on the car ride, but when I learned who you were, it got me thinking about my whole life. Perhaps, if the accident had never happened, we would have been friends way sooner. And perhaps, if that other accident didn't happen, we would have never become friends at all. That's pretty cathartic. Yeah. RJ and I parted ways after that. You're pretty late, Gregory. Got caught up in some stuff. Is the attic open? It is. Rodrick is waiting for you. Bobby, can I see the attic too? Sorry, Manny. You still have to wait. I've just realized something. Manny has barely been in this book at all. Oh well. About time you're here. Left the box out in the open. Inside the attic, there was a bunch of boxes and it was really clean and surprising. Just as Rodrick said, the box was sitting in the open. I cracked it open and I peered over everything. There were a ton of new photos I saw of him that had me and Dad in them. I also saw that there were ones with Manny, but none of Rodrick. My only guess was that Rodrick must have taken the ones with him in them and left the others for Manny and me. I'll do the same, I guess. Honestly, I was kinda disappointed. I thought I would get a ground-shaking reveal about Dad's history or that he left some message for me, but nothing. Although that's probably because Dad probably didn't think to do that. Heck, I don't think he planned to die. I shook the box to see if there was anything else in it. And there was. The last photo shook me the most. Holy crap! That was a Shaolin monk! That caught me pretty off guard, although I guess it explains a lot. Around that photo, there was one last note. To the Heffleys. From Curtis Sampson. I'm writing this letter to you because I believe you deserve to know the truth of what happened. Your father was a great friend of mine. I read that note. Twice, in fact. After I did, I closed the books once more. It's Manny's turn to wait now. Today was a good day, and I have a party to go to now. Goodbye for now, diary. Later that night, it's there, in my dreams, where I see that place again. And this time, everything's fine. The end.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure it's safe to say that this is probably one of the best fanfics to ever be made on r/loaded the server. But yeah, it's definitely like story-wise, creativity-wise, plot-wise, it's just up there. Like this could have been its own movie. Like just make your own characters. Like it could have just been a movie or like a TV series. Like it would have worked perfectly. Like everything was just very, very, very well done. Like in terms of story wise, it's definitely up there with the Evil verse, and yeah, like it's really, really, really good. Like this is like a genuine like masterpiece. This is like a gem. Like this is a really, really good one. But yeah, before we review the characters, there's one thing that's like I was very, very like I still don't understand like what it was supposed to be like. I'll put it up on the screen, but like you know when those ice spirits and like the ice looking ghost spirit of like Fregley like appeared. I was so confused what that was supposed to be like, or like if that like I'm not sure if that was supposed to foreshadow like Fregley getting frozen and dying. Because like when I first saw that, I thought this was gonna be like a supernatural like type of book with like ice spirits and stuff like that. And his dad would probably come back as like some ghost or like some spirit or something like that, or like something to do with like some haunted supernatural ghost spirits. But yeah, I mean other than that, I have no other like questions about it. Like it was very, very good. But yeah, let's like review the characters now. So yeah, this representation of Greg was a very nice one because him losing his father obviously forced him to become a more mature person and not necessarily as like stuck up and selfish. Yeah, he was forced to be more selfless and helping around the house. Obviously, well, we didn't see that much, but it's implied that he would do that. Yeah, there were times where Greg was a little moody and like a little like quick to anger, or just get mad quickly. But other than that, he was a good guy in this one. Like he was generally he was just broken deep down. Like he was a kind-hearted guy, but like obviously him losing his father and all of this stuff happening was just deep down was affecting him more than he was laying it off. Yeah, also Greg was also a ride out. Like whenever his brother or friends was in danger, he was always there to help. Like first when he helped Rodrick take out I forgot his name already, but the guy who was working with Sandico, and how the same guy tried breaking into the house and he was there and he just busted out some karate moves. He whipped out the gun, turned into King Von, bow, bow, bow. It's like, damn, Greg. Like, damn, yeah, he was a really, really selfless guy in this one. I really like to see that. Rodrick, yeah, he was like, he was the same as Greg, basically, more selfless and like more helpful and less like selfish. Not necessarily selfish, but like not less self-centered. Yeah. Manny was just Manny. Like he wasn't necessarily annoying or anything. He was just like a more mature version, and it was more mature than he is represented as in like other books and all that. Okay, Archie. Well, yeah, he was clearly an OC, but he was a very, very well written OC. Probably one of the best OCs I've seen, like in direct Republican media. But like, yeah, like I just found it interesting how fate brought them two together. Like their fathers were good friends, and their fate the universe brought them two together to save or to finish to kind of finish what they started. Just like I liked the dynamic between him and Greg. Like they're a really good team, but like yeah, just found it very, very. It was a very good character. Like obviously it was like the typical. I thought it was gonna be like the typical Disney nerd who will figure out everything. Who like just like some secret genius. But like I liked how he wasn't necessarily like the solution to every problem. Like obviously like there was times where he was low-key like orchestrating the whole thing, like when he came up with the whole idea to go to the tower to find out the signal or to create a signal to the outside. So yeah, but I liked how he wasn't necessarily the one who was just saving the day all the time, but like he was a good character and like yeah, very well written. Like I liked how he was burdening the secret of him and his father knowing each other, and how he knew what happened to his father, what happened to Greg's father, but never actually told him. But yeah, I just liked Archie as a character. He was a very, very well written character. At the beginning, I don't know why Holly was just so like just being so obnoxious and annoying, but like her losing her family made her like that was a wake up call for her. Like yeah, sad as it was, she didn't lose her whole family, her sister and her parents, but like that happening to her was just like a wake up call to her. Like after that, she became a better character. Like over time, like she was becoming like exponentially better. I don't think she wasn't really present that much until like the final arc. Like we saw her we barely saw her in arc 1. We saw her more in arc 2 when she was just mainly her reflecting on the whole situation, like just being her mourning the loss of her family. In arc 3, she was like there helping the gang get to Boris, well, whatever I forgot the place was called, like the facility to stop the Boris project. But like, yeah, like other than that, like she wasn't really present as much. Like damn, I don't know where she got the whole gun from. Like, geez, she was ready. That's probably what she was doing when she was at the like burnt down home. She's probably picking up some weapon or something that she hid there. Like, but damn, she was ready to slam Sindika. But I hear it though. He was responsible for her losing her like pretty much most of her family members. So all she had left was her little sister, which is very sad to be fair. But yeah, Holly had some pretty good character development. She went from being some self-centered, obnoxious young girl to now being a mature person and not taking things for granted and appreciating things more. Yeah. Albert, Raleigh, and Chirag, like they weren't necessarily anything crazy, but like they were like good friends. This one, like they all did their fair share and helped out whenever they could. So yeah, they were good friends. Like this is not really much I can say about them, but like yeah, they were good people and they helped out a lot, which was nice. Okay, Susan. She did very well raising 3 young boys all by herself. You could tell that she was just exhausted mentally and yeah, just pretty much mentally from it all. And the loss of her husband was very, very sad for her. But she still persevered and raised all of them. So you gotta give props to her. Like she did well as a like single mother, so she did very, very well. Yeah, it's also like a very good representation of Susan as well. Like I like to see that. Okay, Sheriff Palsy. Well, first things first, I gotta say he had a very, very great sense of justice. Like I just liked how he didn't waver from what he thought was right and wrong, and he didn't just because he was in a position of power, like he didn't just just because he was in the law enforcement doesn't mean he was immediately going to side with the president or Sandiko when he figured out what he was doing was not necessarily right and was actually like there was like some even more deeper and darker intentions behind his actions. So yeah, I liked how he stood on his own beliefs and was willing to, get potentially prosecuted for his own ideology. Well, not ideology, but like for doing what he believed was right in the situation, not just listening to someone because they have power over him and not just complying because that's what his job expects him to do. So yeah, I liked how he sticked with Greg and the rest and helped him out and helped him save the day as well. Yeah, I really liked that. But it was sad to see him retire. But I do hear his reasons though, because when you're in positions of power, sometimes you have to do things that you don't necessarily agree with. So your whole sense of justice just gets skewed. So understands why he would want to retire and just settle down with his father. So that makes sense. Okay, so Sandiko. Low-key, I wasn't expect I knew he was gonna be the antagonist in some sort of way, but I wasn't expecting him to be the leader of some like terrorist organization. Like I thought these guys were just evil for no reason, but okay, terrorists, I guess that works. But like, yeah, this guy was just evil for no reason. Like he was just such a cocky guy. Like it's just very just very detestable. And like I guess he was a well-written villain because I clearly don't like him. But like, I mean, yeah, I guess he got what was coming for him. Like he deserves to get locked up, and him going insane. Yeah, that's something. Yeah, he got to charge that. That's his own because I don't know why he I don't understand the whole the agenda for his actions. Like he just killed a bunch of people for his own pleasure. Like very selfish guy. Like he deserves what happened to him. And Ryan as well. Yeah, I remember his name now. Ryan. This guy just lost so much aura. Like this guy probably has the least aura in this book. Like first he got cooked by Greg and Rodrick. Then he got cooked by Greg again. Like Greg was cooking him up with like karate or like kung fu, whatever it was. Then he whipped out the gun and shot him like 9 times. Like this guy emptied out a whole mag on him. And he just had to firm that around the way like a wussy. Like he's running away from a kid. And like again, then him and Palsy have a 1v1. Cause like that panel, that was a very, very well drawn panel as well. I thought that was gonna be like a sick. I thought Rand was actually gonna do something, but like then you see that he gets turned into like some spaghetti noodles. Like damn, yeah, like Ryan, he had zero aura this fanfic. Like damn, yeah. But I think that's all of the characters. But yeah, this is like a 10 out. This is 10 out of 10. Like a very, very good one. One of my personal favorites. Like very, very good. Like. Yeah, this is like a very, very, very good like fanfic, like one of the best I've ever read on in the Diary of Implicated Media. But yeah, the author very, very talented. Honestly, you should just write at this point you should I'd say write your own stories, like make your own books, like TV shows or books. Maybe you can go to a TV show, movie, because this really could have worked as a movie or a TV series, like a 1-season TV series, like with original characters as well. Like not just like, you could have just used different characters. Like it would have worked perfectly. Like this is like a very, very good one. I really liked it. I think we started reading this in November. It's like June now, so 6 months. Like November. Yeah, it's like been like 6 months. Like this is a very, very good one. And yeah, finally done with this. Wow. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great day. Need to do arc 3, then the whole thing. So I can finally add it on later to the compilation I'm making. And you guys have a great day, guys. I really, really like this one. And yeah,